Hello. In this video we will talk about lesson 4.4 where we solve quadratic inequalities, and this begins on page 219. Just a quick recap over quadratic inequalities. This symbol here is less than. Here we have greater than. Here we have less than or equal to, and here we have greater than or equal to. Now whenever we have less than or equal to, we shade on the inside, and when we have greater than or equal to, we shade on the outside. Okay. And whenever we write the solution set is whenever we have the smallest, we're going to write it so where the smallest value is on the left and my largest value is going to be on the right. Alright. Now, let's go over the different methods that we just learned about how to solve quadratic equations. One of the first methods that we learned was to solve by taking the square root. Then we learned how to solve by completing the square, and finally we learned how to solve by the quadratic formula. Now, here is a first example that we're going to work with. And the first thing you want to do is move everything to one side so that one side is 0. So what we need to do here is subtract 9 from both sides, and we get that x squared plus 2x is negative 8 is going to be greater than 0. Okay. Now, in order to factor this, we can use so many different methods, any of these right here. But let's go ahead and use the box method. And so what I'm going to do is put x squared right there, negative 8 goes right there. But before we continue further, we need to change this into an equation. So we have x squared plus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. Now what I want to do is find the factors of negative 8, 1 times negative 8, and that give me 2. So what are the two factors? Well, it's going to be positive 4 and negative 2. So these are what go inside my boxes. So I have positive 4x and negative 2x. And now what I need to do is just find the dimensions. X goes here, x goes right there, because x times x gives me x squared. Now everything else is simple. Negative 2 times x gives me negative 2x, and here 4 times x gives me 4x. And so now we have x minus 2 and x plus 4 is equal to 0. What we want to do now is take each factor, set it equal to 0 using the zero product property, and solve each of these for x. So we have plus 2 on both sides, x equals 2, and here we need to subtract 4 from both sides, and we get that x equals negative 4. So now we found the solutions, we solved our quadratic equation. What we're going to do is write the solution set. And so x goes in the middle. Remember, my solution set is going to be set up like this. My smallest value is going to be on the left. In this case, it's negative 4. And my largest value is going to be 2. And finally, all I need to do is use the inequality that I started with, which is greater than. And so I'm going to have greater than on both sides. And so my final solution set is going to look like this. It's going to be x such that x is negative 4 is greater than x, and x is greater than 2. That's it. Okay, let's do another example. Again, you want to put the equation to where we have one side so that one side is 0. So here we need to subtract 4x, and so what we get is 2x squared minus 4x plus 1 is less than or equal to 0. Now, in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula, remember, is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Alright. Now, in order to use the quadratic formula, the first thing I need to do is find a, b, and c. A is going to be the coefficient of x squared, which is 2. B is the coefficient of x, which is negative 4. And c is going to be 1. So what I need to do is just go ahead and plug in the letters. Here I have negative 4 plus or minus square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times 1 all over 2 times 1. So basically I just plugged in a, b, and c into the quadratic formula. So all I need to do now is just simplify. 2 consecutive negatives become a positive. The negative 4 squared, well, that's going to be 16 minus 4 times 2 times 1, which is 8, divided by 2 times 1, which is 2. We can continue simplifying this. 16 minus 8, well, that's the square root of 8 all over 2, and this is basically 4 over 2 plus or minus the square root of 8 over 2. Now 8 contains a perfect square, which is 4 times 2. That means that the square root of 8 can be written as the square root of 4 times the square root of 2, which is equal to 2 times the square root of 2. Alright, so let's go ahead and rewrite that. We have 4 divided by 2 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 2 over 2. This can be simplified to 2 plus or minus the square root of 2. Alright, there we go. Our two solutions are x is equal to 2 plus square root of 2 and x equals 2 minus the square root of 2. Here are my two solutions. So again, we want to write our solution set. X goes in the middle. My smallest value is going to be this, 2 minus the square root of 2. And my largest value is going to be 2 plus the square root of 2. Finally, we just want to go ahead and write the inequality that we started with, which is less than or equal to. And finally, put braces on both sides, x. So our solution set is x such that x is between negative 2 minus the square root of 2 and 2 plus the square root of 2. There is my final answer. Again, we went through many different problems like this, and here were the 3 methods that we can use to solve quadratic equations in order to solve our quadratic inequality. Alright, thank you for watching.